Okay, final one of the math examples is this one here, distance, and I've just set this up. So it's taking the camera distance, or the camera position, and the object position, and giving us a distance, and then just displaying that. So simply done. Gives us what's called the scalar distance between two points, or between two input data of the same degree. So you can do a linear distance between two values, or you can do a 2D distance between two vector 2's, etc. Basically, it's subtracting one from the other and then making sure it's always positive. So it's always giving us a positive distance. And in this case, we're just using 2 bits of input data, the object position, which is where this object is in the space, and the camera position, so where our camera is, and we're getting this kind of how far away we are calculation. And we can use that however we wish. So if we were doing some kind of fading, I mentioned before in the depth fade example, there we have a camera depth fade. Is this using distance? No, it's doing it manually with math. Fine, but we could use the distance calculation to do that. Which one am I on? 24. But it doesn't. It does it just using numbers, but it works as well. But we could do other things as well. So we could do fading in the distance, we could do tiling in the distance, anything where we need to know how far away we are from our object. That's gonna work like that. So 2 inputs of the same degree. So if it's 2 vector 3's, that's going to work. If we plug in a vector 2 in here, it's going to give us an error. Now this kind of error comes up relatively often when you're dealing with different data types, because basically you can't do math between a vector 3 and a vector 2. It will not let you, and so you'll get errors. Now you can plug a float in, or a single value, and what happens here is it automatically converts this into a vector of the right degree. So in this case, this is a 3 vector, so it's effectively plugging in 3 values of the same as 0. But if you ever see this error, you've used the wrong data type. Very common when you're dealing with UVs and colors. If you try and combine them in the wrong way, you can't add a 2 and a 3 together, you might get that error. But we can do a distance between a 2 and a 2, and that'll work fine. So and so it's looking now at the 2D distance between 0, 0 and 0.55, and so it gives us this distance here. So useful node, as I say, for calculating distances between things. Yeah, and we can calculate here the distance from the camera to our object, which can be very useful. Cool. All right, that is it for the maths nodes. I think that covers almost all of them. These are sort of the input building blocks for the material editor. Some of them more complex than others, we don't use very often. Obviously the more basic ones down this end we're going to be using a lot more of, so add, divide, multiply, etc. Sine waves and math to do animations, and blending and directional checks, and more animation, all sorts. And we'll be covering these as examples more in the next section, looking at input data. Where are we? Input data. And then also in the worked examples later on as well. So yeah. Okay.